MAGA hypocrisy running rampant in Connecticut. Now, when I say hypocrisy, I'm going to run this clip for you. I'm talking about true hypocrisy, whereas it's okay when I do it, but when somebody else do it, it really tees them off. Check this out.
Hey, I'm Amber Diaz. A battle over free speech is unfolding in the Dayville section of Killingly. The person who lives there has a slew of anti-Trump signs on his home and lawn, some with vulgar words. And shocking new photos show him with a firearm in his front yard.
It is upsetting some people in town, and that home is right near a middle school. NBC Connecticut's Amanda Pitts picks up the story from there.
They're not your typical political lawn signs. These homemade ones have some vulgar language that we've blurred.
I see it right coming down Route 12 on Run 01 too.
The signs we can show you say, "You wanted the felon," "Rage against the regime," and "Trumpstein, release the evidence." They sit on and around a home on Upper Maple Street in the Dayville section of Killingly.
Definitely not respectful.
They've got people in this quiet town talking.
At the end of the day, it's their property, it's their right.
The house is a few hundred yards from the Killingly Intermediate School. School buses pass by it every day.
If anything, it shouldn't be around the school, anywhere around the school.
Now, the town manager said the police department and zoning department has received multiple complaints about these signs, but ultimately it comes down to this resident's First Amendment right. In a statement, town leaders wrote, "After thorough review, we must clarify that the content of the sign is protected speech under the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. The First Amendment guarantees the right to free expression, including political speech, even when it is controversial or offensive to some." But things escalated over the weekend when, according to the Day newspaper, pictures circulated social media showing the man they say put up the signs carrying a firearm outside on his front lawn and roof. People we spoke to in the area are split on the controversy.
There is that First Amendment to allow you to have freedom of speech, but it's out of respect, mainly.
We just have to remember that people can have their opinions, and unfortunately we can't change that. And if you have an issue with something that someone's saying, you can put up your own thing.
The resident told The Day that he put out this display as a way to voice his views after being shut out of online forums. Our attempts to reach him were unsuccessful. In Killingly, Amanda Pitts, NBC, Connecticut News.
Wow. Now, being candid, I'm no fan of Americans putting disrespectful signs of the commander-in-chief on their front line. As you see here, expletives all in the sign, cuss words. You see the child in the video talking about kids are reading this stuff on the way to school. I'm no fan of any of this. However, it is covered by the First Amendment. It is free speech. But I will say, just because you can do something does not mean you should do something. Nevertheless, here we are. So why do I think this is MAGA? You see my video titled MAGA Hypocrisy, and folks are going to suggest there's no MAGA mentioned in this video clip whatsoever. So why are you saying it's MAGA hypocrisy? Well, simply put, you see the Democrats now rallying behind Gavin Newsom, who is making a name for himself by trolling and insulting President Trump. Fact is, when they go low, we go high slogan coming from Michelle Obama, that has oozed out of the Democratic Party. The Democrat Party is now full behind trolling President Trump, likely because they've realized that going high when Trump goes low is only going to give him more ammunition to continue going low. So the Democrats are now full swing behind trolling Trump. So you're not going to get a whole bunch of Democrats complaining about a citizen putting up a sign like this. That is why I'm fairly certain that anybody complaining about this in a blue state like Connecticut is probably a Trump supporter, probably MAGA, probably leans right, maybe an independent at best, but I tend to think it's probably mostly MAGA doing this. And I also am going to tell you, I'm not for certain that the homeowner that put this sign up is not MAGA or a Trump supporter himself. Now, I get everybody's going to believe anybody that would put up something that's this awful obviously does not like Trump, obviously voted for Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and they are as blue as deoxygenated blood. I don't feel confident of that. I'm going to tell you from a number of reasons. Obviously, them stating that he was seen on the roof of his home with a gun in his hand, that don't sound very liberal. That sounds more fuck around and find out. I put this sign on my damn lawn. Come and take it down if you're brave enough. That sounds very conservative if you ask me. But here's more ammunition for why I'm saying that. Fact is, Trump has disenfranchised a hell of a lot of MAGA. Whether it's farmers that are suffering due to the tariffs, folks who wanted to know what was on the Epstein list, the Epstein files, and he's not doing that. There's a whole lot of folks that voted for Trump that are not happy with him. And you hear in the clip, the reporter state that this individual had been kicked out of online forums, so he decided to start putting shit on his home. Keep in mind, even the QAnon shaman got on social media and said that Trump is a piece of shit. And that's somebody that Trump, I believe, has pardoned. So there are MAGA that are disenfranchised and upset with President Trump. This guy is talking about Trumpstein. He has that on the front of his home. There's a whole lot of folks on the right that are not happy about Trump in his handling of the Epstein files. So this guy, in my opinion, might actually be a former Trump supporter, former MAGA, and is pissed off. You hear him saying he got kicked out of online forums. You don't see a whole lot of liberals going in Trump forums. He might be a conservative MAGA that was in conservative forums making statements like, this guy is bullshit on the Epstein list. And they started kicking him out, because I know personally, if you go to Trump forums and you don't speak positively of Trump, if you start criticizing Trump, they'll kick you out. I've been kicked out of dozens of them. That's the main reason why I do live streams now where I don't kick anybody out. It's because I didn't like it. I let MAGA come in and speak as much as they want, say whatever the hell they want. But I can tell you for a fact, if you go into a Trump forum where most of the members like President Trump and you start criticizing them, there is a good chance you'll be muted, blocked, banned, censored, or canceled. They do that all the time. So my guess is there's a really good chance that the homeowner featured in this story actually voted for President Trump. In addition to Epstein, in addition to folks suffering because of the tariffs, also understand, being up there in those New England states, a lot of the businesses up there are suffering because the Canadian tourism is way down. Because of Trump threatening the sovereignty of Canada, talking about making it the 51st state, calling their prime minister governor, all of that stuff has pissed off the Canadians. So a lot of the businesses in those New England states that used to see a lot of Canadian tourism dollars, they're losing out. And a lot of them voted for President Trump, just like a whole lot of farmers voted for Trump, and his tariffs are costing them a fortune, or his immigration policies are costing them a fortune. So I tend to think that this guy actually is likely somebody that voted for Trump. But last but not least, I want to make this clear. What is the difference between this guy posting that on the front of his house and somebody doing this? We already know what Let's Go Brandon means. It means fuck Joe Biden. So I'm going to submit to you that if you supported Trump, you voted for stuff like this. Whether it's Trump tweeting out pictures of Biden hogtied in the trunk of a car. Just yesterday, he posted a picture of him standing over what looks like Chicago, burning in rubble. I mean, you actually voted for this. So my opinion is there is no one on the right side of the aisle that holds any credibility if they're complaining about American citizens saying bad things about President Trump. As I stated, I don't like Americans doing that to their president, but keep in mind, we have a president that is doing that to the American people. So there are consequences and repercussions for doing that. This guy in his home, perfect example. But let me know in the comments, what do you think? Do you think that Americans should be doing this to the President of the United States? What about if the President of the United States is doing it to the Americans? Let me know in the comments, what do you think about this? Should we cease this, or do you favor it, similar to what Gavin Newsom is doing? As always, feel free to smash that like button, click the notification bell, and subscribe to the damn channel. See you in the next video.